speak on mindset, I'm constantly thinking and I'm constantly considering and contemplating different things. And I know we've got a lot of things happening around us and a lot of things happening to us in our world today. That's why I named the title Some Play the Game and Some Stay the Same. And let me just stick to the topic because there's so many directions sometimes I want to go in. And let me just make it plain and keep it simple, which is my version of making it clear. Some people stay the same because they haven't really found themselves. And I get that. Unfortunately, I was one of those people for a very long time. And I was a follower. I wanted to be a leader. I was attracted to leadership and leaders in different areas, whether it was sports, business, growing up as a kid in Harlem. Leadership is attractive, but I wasn't that person. I wanted to be that person. And I remember my dad asked me one day, and this is even in my dark days, he said, "Son, who do you see on the corner when you go to work?" So I was saying the names of the guys. He said, "And who do you see when you come home?" I say the names of the same guys. And my point is that some people never move to change their circumstances or to change their life. That's the long and short of it. Some people don't realize that in order to get something, they must do something different. And I'm not saying they don't want to, that's great, but you have to have a little more of an umption than just wanting. You have to be more than willing to take action. And that's why I'm talking about, this topic. Some play the game, yet most, they stay the same. And you have to know that everyone has a purpose. And I've said this many times. We all have a different talent, skill, gift, or an ability. But many times we don't tap into it for an assortment of reasons. Sometimes we just don't believe in ourselves. We don't know that we can do it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I want to run down, tip by tip, why those things happen and what you should do or could do to reverse it or to change it. Because whether you know it or not, it doesn't just happen to children. It doesn't just happen to teenagers or young adults. It happens to grown, seasoned adults as well. And again, for me, I am not above the fray, whereas I'm so prominent that I'm not like anyone else. I wasted, let's see, how much was it? A good 50% of my life doing nothing, being nothing, which is why today I probably have a great thirst and a great appetite, just getting out there, going after it, and trying to make things happen. Win, lose, or draw, I'm still going to go for it. So it's important to me that I do this because, look, there's only one of me. I get one shot. And in order to have a legacy worth something, you have to be willing to do something. So I looked at why not, right? Somebody's calling me. I don't know who's calling me. But I looked at why not. Why is it that some people stay the same? And there is a reason for it. But I truly believe, like I've said many times, nothing in life is singular. Everything that happens is usually because of a compounded set of circumstances. That is a fact. You can't just say, "Oh, the lights went out." No, the lights went out because you didn't pay the bill. That's two things, right? The lights didn't just go out, they was cut out. Or even if they did go out, why did the lights go out? The lights went out because there was a power surge. One action creates a reaction. And that's in a very simplistic manner. But in our lives, in our daily lives, it's no different. Everything is compounded. Many of us were just fearful. Many of us were uncertain. Many of us, we have, unfortunately, low self-esteem. And then there's others where we're just waiting. And I don't know what we're waiting for because we're only getting older. I mean, let's look at it for what it is. You can't wait as a seasoned adult to finally have your big hurrah if you're just going to sit around and wait. And we've all heard the term, most people are waiting for the right time. Well, if you're waiting for the right time, you'll never do anything because there is no such thing as the right time. Now, let me clarify that. There is a right time to, I don't know, build a house or right season for things. Yeah, there is, in a sense, a right time. But when it comes to you getting out of your own way to do something, to be something, to say something, to make something meaningful, there's no such thing as waiting for the right time. You got to just do it. If you ever want a shift in your life, you've got to just do it. You got to be that man, that woman. Stand up for yourself and let your voice be heard. Let your opinion be known. That's the only way people will begin to respect you. You will begin to respect yourself, and you will crack open the door for the opportunity and the possibility of doing something that you've never done before, being someone that you've never been before. Because you can live your whole life being fearful, but you know what? That will be your beginning, your middle, and your end. And there will be nothing you can say to speak for yourself on what you contributed to life while here. Now, I'm not saying that everyone is supposed to be a millionaire or a superstar artist, whatever the case may be. It doesn't work that way either. You and I can have the same exact talent, the same exact education, but because of your style, because of your swag, because of the sphere of influence that you have, whether you're more successful or not, there are just some people that want to receive it from you. Plain and simple. Yeah, there may be people that like me too, but some just want to hear it from you. As God is my witness, I know that to be true. Not only that, I can remember myself. I was so fearful, so afraid, so insecure growing up. I remember in high school, I liked this girl, and I would ride the train with her right to her stop. And I was like, I could mouth the words, but I couldn't say what I wanted to say, right? So the last time I got to see her after school, so you ready to go? Okay? So we got on a train, and we're talking, and we riding. So her stop came. I said, so listen, why don't you just be my girl? And you know what she said? Oh, Charles, I'm sorry. So-and-so just asked me. So I was a day late and $1 short. Now, I'm not saying that she was supposed to be my girl and everything would have been magical and blissful and it would have turned out to a storybook ending. No, I don't know that. But the point is, I waited and waited. I was unsure. I was insecure. I was fearful of rejection, and I lost out. And when I finally got the umption to ask, it didn't matter because I was too late. So we have to understand that that's the reason why many of us don't move forward. So what's needed? What do we need to do as human beings, as people, men or women, to get over those types of obstacles? Well, honestly, I think we do need support. You need to know that someone is there to help you along the way. Someone wants to be there to provide for you, or, sort of like straddle the fence with you or guide the path with you, if you will, so that you don't just fall on one side or the other. They help you stay balanced. And you also need encouragement. You need someone telling you that you can do it. You need someone telling you, I've got your back. You need someone telling you and being there with you in the process, during the process of trying to do the daggone thing. It doesn't matter what it is. It is very difficult for someone to do a thing that's significant when they don't have someone to help them, when they don't have someone to back them, when they don't have someone that cares about their well-being or their future. So those that do make it without a lot of support, a lot of times that's why they're bitter. Again, I'm thinking about our leaders of companies and leaders of great nations, right? They may have started out with as a intern, and then as a or volunteer, and if it's politics, they may have been a congresswoman or a what do you call it, a local. What are those terms? I keep forgetting. And the local ambassadors for our different sections, our townships, right? And maybe they were a senator, and then maybe they were a mayor, and then maybe they were a governor, and then finally they decide they want to run for the presidency. Well, you know, every president has to have a cabinet. And what is a cabinet? It's a group of people that you look to and lean on for support. And if it's your party, they are probably going to encourage you on the decisions that the cabinet has made. And you being the focal leader, you go out there and take charge and make this grand announcement every time an announcement is to be made. So it goes to show you nothing is done, usually nothing of significance, without support and without encouragement. And you've got to be willing to give people the same thing you want in return. It's not always easy because, let's get it, let's get it right, and let's keep it real. People don't always get along, even with the same parties or within the same household or within the same companies or communities. But if you have been that person who decided to take the lead, to take the charge, and you've got a team behind you, you've got someone with you, come on, let's get with it. Let's get it cracking. Let's make it happen. That's just how it is. I remember when I was young, I was a teenager also, back in the day. I had my own room, of course, and I had a bachelor pad, which is a couch that converts into a bed, right? So it was like an L shape. And in the middle was a table with the radio on it. So every time I came home, I would just like pop on the bed, right? Jump on the bed or sit down very hard until it started to cave in. And my parents would get mad at me because I was always plopping on the bed. And then the bed that I liked, it caved in. And so I tried to switch them around. And my dad was like, no, you're going to fix that bed. I'm like, how the heck I'm going to fix this bed? So if you're from New York, you probably know what I'm talking about. And if you're from Harlem, I know you know where and what I'm talking about. I had to go to the lumberyard. The lumberyard was on 125th and 3rd. So I go to the lumberyard because I'd already taken the measurements. You see, that's another thing, right? I took the measurements for the bed. I went to the lumberyard. I told the people in the lumberyard what my measurements were, the thickness that I was looking for, and they gave me the wood. And so I had to take the wood home. You can't get wood the size of a twin bed on a city bus very easily. So I was madder than mad. So what else could I do? I was, in charge of fixing my bed. My dad got mad at me for breaking the bed. So I'm carrying this lumber by hand from 125th Street and 3rd all the way over to St. Nicholas Avenue up to 130th in St. Nicholas, because we live in Lionel-Hampton at that time, and up to the 22nd floor, which of course I was so grateful to get to that daggone elevator. So I finally get the wood in the door, and I get the wood in my room, and my dad said, okay, here's some nails, here's a hammer, do it like this, do it like that. So he gave me the instructions on how to make it work, how to fix the bed. And the point is, it became a teachable moment. It became a teachable moment for me. I had the support, which I didn't want because I didn't want to go do it. I had the encouragement. It was more of a insistent, frustrated, angry encouragement from him because he was angry that it happened. But I learned a very important lesson: how to take care of your things, number one, but also, number two, how to repair the bed, how to fix things when they go wrong. So it was a perfect scenario for a teachable moment. And many times we resist teachable moments because either we're too lazy or we just don't feel like being bothered with it, or we're more interested in frivolous activities which don't give us a ROI, a return on our investment, a return on our investment in time, our return on our investment in our learning. I've never forgot that moment, and it's always prepared me for future moments. Now I could reinforce anything because that bed became stronger than it was when I first bought it, believe it or not. So, like again, some people, they play the game and some people stay the same. And what is the game, by the way? What is the game? I'm talking about the game of life. You see, the game of life is what it is. There's certain things you do, certain things you don't do. There's certain rules, certain things hurt you, certain things help you. You get an opportunity of learning, traditional and lifestyle learning. And all those things have their own set of nuances. But as you're growing up, as you're going out into life and experiencing things, these things are telling you and teaching you various things. And it behooves you to learn those things, to take heed, to remember, to put them in your stash of resources, because you never know when you're going to have to call on them. Just like the bed, right? I never know now as a man, as an adult, when am I going to have to reinforce a cabinet? When am I going to have to build something? But because I've done it many, many years ago, that's an education that can never and should never be taken from me or should never be lost. It should be something that I'm holding on to. In fact, something I pass on to my son, something I pass on to my nephews, something that I pass on to any young man that needs to learn how to care for himself, fend for himself or his family. So don't resist teachable moments. And what playing the game simply means, you got to learn how to manage in this life. Now, understand, regardless of your color or anything else, there are a lot of things that are going to be against you. But it's up to you to be determined to get through this life to get what you want. And if you don't know what you want, you still got to get through this life until you find what you want and then go after it with almost reckless abandon. That's important and that's real. So again, some people play the game and some people stay the same. So the thing is, like, once you know all this stuff, what's stopping them, and people have held them back, people have looked down on them, people have not supported them, they never knew, how things were going to turn out for them, for their lives or in their lives. They didn't have all the things that the people next door, all the reasons, all the excuses, I get it. But you know what? You still got a life to live. So are you going to let excuses stop you from living? Or because there is a valid reason, are you just going to go, oh, well, I can't do it? You have to find a way beyond the excuses and beyond the reasons to become what you want to become the best version of you. Look, I was a drug addict. Y'all know that. I didn't want to be a drug addict. I just want to hang out with my friends, get high, and have a good time. In fact, I would still do it. But I already know the results of those actions. So to be the best version of me, that's something I can't do. That's something I won't do. Fill in the blank. What is it that you won't do? Whatever that thing is. What is it? So how do you actually make the shift, the change, the transition, and become better? I say it all the time. It's mindset. You got to have the right mindset. One of my taglines, the right mindset is all you need. So with the right mindset, it doesn't mean that there won't be challenges. It doesn't mean that there won't be days or times when you don't have money. It doesn't mean that you're going to always be the smartest person in your decision making. It just means that you have to adopt a mindset that you want to keep going back to, that you want to make it current, that you want to keep it fluid within your, fluid in your lifestyle. You want to make it the thing that you draw the line in the sand with or for. In other words, it becomes a standard of who you are. And that is crucial. So the right mindset is all you need. You have to learn how to overcome past uncertainties, past fears, past shames, past challenges. See, in order to be the best version of you, in order to really be in the game and not stay the same, you have to overcome these things. In addition, you have to reach for and allow the milestones that you've experienced, the successes that you've experienced, the encouragement that you've had, the support that you have, the dreams that you have, and you want to flourish. You have to allow all of those things to come to the forefront and almost let the past be the past. You can't go forward by looking in the past without making another mistake. So you have to have the right mindset. And I'll say it again. You have to alleviate and overcome all your past uncertainties, your past fears, your past challenges. You got to get that stuff out your way. And you have to be willing to allow your milestones, your successes, the support you've had, the encouragement, all the wins to come to the forefront. So that's your rallying cry. Those are the things that you really stand for and stand by so that you move forward. And the biggest thing, you want to be attracted to people that have like minds. Likeness attracts likeness. And if you're doing business, or again, if you're building a shelf, you want to be around carpenters. You want to be around somebody that understands tools. You don't want to be around the naysayers. Look, it's not that difficult, or it's us. We make it more difficult than it needs to be. It's really simple. It just takes some effort on your part. So I hope you share this out. I hope you have questions. I hope you have comments. I really look forward to what it is that you have to say. Again, we're going through a very peculiar time at this point in our lives worldwide. The best thing we can do is get as much information as we can, be as encouraged as we can, and use as many of the resources that we possibly can use for the betterment of who we are. And always, you got to remember to radiate the brain and change the game. And I'll see you next time.